continue to fight terrorism with full force.
24 transgenders in India attempt mass suicide.
The new peace deal in Gaza.
January 2025, there was a temporary ceasefire which was broken.
I like to end Deep Brew with a moment of perspective to keep your chai hot,
Your espresso strong, and your
takes
takes even stronger. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chai and Espresso, where we stir up current affairs with conversations.
We're gonna go through the biggest headline of the week, we're gonna go through a deep brew on the Gaza peace deal, and then the funny headline of the week as usual. So stay with us.
Grab your mugs and let's get brewing.
Alright, so let's start with the top 5 biggest headlines of this week.
Prince Andrew gives up Duke of York title after talks with King. Prince Andrew announced he will relinquish his use of Duke of York title and several honors after discussions with King Charles. Although he remains a prince and eighth in the line to the throne, the move comes amid escalating controversies around his links to Jeffrey Epstein and concerns about the monarchy's reputation.
Netanyahu determined to pressure Hamas to find remaining dead hostages. Israel Prime Minister has held a memorial for victims of the Hamas-led attack on 7 of October 2023, and he is determined to secure the return of the dead hostages still in Gaza, and that the country will continue to fight terrorism with full force.
Afghanistan withdraws from cricket series after Pakistan airstrike kills local players. Afghanistan has pulled out of November's Tri-Nation T20 series after 3 local cricketers were killed in an airstrike that its cricket board blamed on Pakistan. The ACB called the deaths a great loss to its sporting community. Pakistan denied targeting civilians, saying it struck militants. Zimbabwe will now replace Afghanistan in the tournament.
Under fire boss Ange Postecoglou delivered a passionate defense of his legacy as he vowed to win silverware at Nottingham Forest if given time. The 60-year-old is under pressure after failing to win any of his opening 7 games since replacing Nuno Espirito Santo last month.
24 transgenders in India attempt mass suicide after alleged rape by men posing as journalists. In Indore, India, around 24 transgender individuals consumed phenyl in protest after 2 men posing as journalists allegedly raped a transgender woman and threatened her with false charges. The community has demanded arrests.
The BBC committed a serious breach of broadcasting rules by failing to disclose that the narrator of a documentary about Gaza was the son of a Hamas official, UK media regulator Ofcom has ruled. So, there was an Ofcom investigation into Gaza, How to Survive a War Zone, has concluded that the program was materially misleading. The BBC Director General has previously apologized, saying there had been a significant failing in relation to accuracy. Welcome to the Deep Brew section. Today we're taking a pause from the usual headlines to focus on something serious, the new peace deal in Gaza. This is a topic that has affected millions of lives, and we want to unpack it in a way that's both informative and hopeful.
We'll discuss what the deal entails, its potential impacts, and most importantly, whether it's realistic chance that it could potentially finally end the conflict.
Here's what we know so far. The peace deal was announced on the 9th of October after months of negotiation mediated by Donald Trump. Ceasefire terms agreed upon between Hamas and Israel, humanitarian access corridor for aids and civilians, discussion about long-term political solution, economic support, and security guarantees. This is the first major agreement, and many are cautiously optimistic.
But while the headlines talk about peace, there's a lot of skepticism. Past agreements have been broken down, the situation on the ground is complex. So our key question today is there now a realistic chance to end the war in Gaza? History and conflicts and previous peace attempts have shown that many previous ceasefires have collapsed. The Gaza conflict has been a focal point of the Israel-Palestinian, which has marked multiple wars and intermittent ceasefires over the decade. January 2025, there was a temporary ceasefire which was brokered, but it was collapsed due to Hamas's refusal to accept US's extension proposal and leading to a cessation of aid and renewed hostilities. And then there were prior agreements. Previous ceasefires have often been faltered due to issues like non compliance, lack of trust, and absence of a comprehensive political framework.
But what are the highlight of this new deal? What is changing now? So first of all, there's a ceasefire enforcement mechanism. The plan includes a phased Israeli withdrawal from Gaza, with the Israeli Defense Forces handing over control to an international stabilization force, which is comprising US, Arab, and European personnel. Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire lasting up to 5 years to facilitate Gaza reconstruction, contingent upon progress towards Palestinian statehood. Then there is an humanitarian aid promises. The agreement stipulates the return of all Israeli hostages, alive and deceased, within 72 hours, and the release of Palestinian prisoners, including 250 life sentence prisoners and 1,700 arrested since the war began. However, humanitarian aid remains critically scarce, with only 13 out of 36 hospitals partially functioning and approximately 560 tons of food entering Gaza daily, falling short of urgent needs. Then there's political representation and governance changes. A transitional administration led by Palestinian technocrats supervised by an international body is planned to manage day to day governance and oversee the rehabilitation of infrastructure. Hamas intends to maintain security control in Gaza during an interim period, but also has expressed reluctance to disarm, complicating efforts towards long term peace.
So, what are the challenges and risks that come up with all of this? Extremist groups are not part of the deal. Hamas has refused to disarm, and its control over Gaza's security apparatus pose significant challenges for the peace to progress. There have been regional political tensions, like various regional factors with differing interests, which add complexity to the peace efforts. The main and one of the key risk is economic and social rebuilding of the hurdles. Extensive damage has been caused to Gaza's infrastructure, and there's been an ongoing humanitarian crisis, which is very significant obstacle to the reconstruction and redevelopment. And the one of the biggest risk and challenge is the potential of lasting peace. How long will this be brokered for again? What would the success look like in 6 months? Will the re-establishment of a transitional administration and initiative steps towards rebuilding infrastructure in 1 year, will there be improved humanitarian conditions with increased aid access and functioning of healthcare facilities? And what about in 5 years? Like, will there be a stable and self governing Gaza with progress towards Palestinian as statehood and a regional peace? There's a lot of debate between the realistic expectations and optimism. While the agreement offers a framework for peace and the challenges are substantial, success will only depend on sustained international support, internal political will, and the commitment of all parties to uphold the terms of the deal.
Even with the deal in peace, there are so many factors that could derail extremist factions, political instability, and distrust on both sides.
But at the same time, we cannot ignore the humanitarian openings. Aid corridors, access to food and medicine, these are tangible wins.
Now, I like to end deeper with a moment of perspective. Even in places like Gaza, where conflict has lasted decades, these peace deals show that progress, however fragile, is possible.
Exactly, like while one agreement doesn't solve everything, it reminds us that there is hope and action which goes hand in hand. Every small step matters. Every small negotiation, a ceasefire, a humanitarian aid, every small step matters. Every drop contributes to a full big ocean. So that matters.
And for us as listeners, think about the area of your life where you face conflict or struggle. Progress can feel slow, imperfect, fragile, but showing up, trying, and creating openings matters. Every positive step counts.
Yeah, so today we discussed about the new Gaza peace deal and the challenges it faces, what realistic hope might look like. And remember, whether it's global peace or personal growth, even the smallest forward steps can lead to a bigger change over time. And with this, we wrap up the deep brew. Keep brewing with us, and that is the spirit of deep brew. Now, before we go, as a wrap up to this very deep conversational episode, here are the 5 funniest headlines we found this week.
A landlord in the UK is advertising asylum seekers only HMO deals on TikTok, bragging about passive income from government contracts.
A 19-year-old went on a vandalism spree, smashing car windows and mirrors, then confessed his crime to ChatGPT. When police investigated, they found his chat history asking if he could get caught.
A Sudanese national nicknamed Batman was convicted of piloting a small boat with 50 migrants across the channel because he wore a Batman t-shirt and tried to hide.
In Portland, dozens of naked cyclists gathered in a naked bike ride protest against the presence of federal troops in the city.
Uncrustable makers sues Trader Joe's over PB&J sandwich design. The complaint claims Trader Joe's version copies Uncrustable round-shaped packaging design and trademarked style.
A trio of goats has escaped from a farm 3 months ago, have become local celebrities in Connecticut, and can often be seen grazing near the highway.
So with today, we went through always the biggest headline of the week and the funny headline of the week. But what did we understand? For the Gaza peace conflict, we hope that it will last. Both sides will agree and work together towards peace, and that everybody has conflict and we all go through conflict, but there's always hope. So never lose that hope. And thanks for staying with us and following us until this episode of Chai and Espresso. And we love that you are here listening to us.
Yeah, and a side note for the people in India, it's a festive season, so happy Diwali from us. Have a peaceful, safe, and healthy Diwali with everybody, and enjoy time with your family. And follow us on our Instagram and TikTok. Like and share this video. Comment what do you think about how realistic are these Gaza peace deal things going on to be. And
don't forget it's Chai Espresso Pod, and see you next week for another brew. And remember to keep your chai hot,
your espresso strong, and your
takes
even stronger. Thank you.